This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. We're in London here for the press conference of Chris EUBANK Jr. versus Arthur Abraham, July 15th at Wembley Arena. Joined by Chris EUBANK Jr. How are you, Chris?
So far, so good.
Yeah? Is that in life, or are we talking boxing, or
Everything. I'm in a good position. I'm in a great position. Fighting a man like Arthur Abraham is it's a great opportunity for me to show the fighter that I know I am, and I'm ready.
We're very familiar with Arthur Abraham, as well as being in with the best in his weight throughout his career. He's also faced quite a few Brits, successful on some, unsuccessful on the other. But at 37, what does he have to offer still, in your opinion?
He's strong, he's durable, and he doesn't quit. All those attributes are going to make for a very, very good fight.
From what we know of you, we'll know that you'll go in there fully on intending to stop him and making a statement. Would that be correct in saying?
He's never been stopped before, and that is definitely a challenge that I am going to relish pursuing. I want to be the first man to stop Arthur Abraham.
He's coming off the back of a good win over Krasnicki. We know he lost his world title to Gilberto Ramirez not too long ago, but he has aspirations that he wants to win another world title as well. So it seems to be a very good choice of opponent for yourself on July 15th.
It's a perfect matchup. It's the perfect matchup for both of us at the stages we are at in our careers.
When I spoke to you post-fight against Reynald Quinlan, had some strong things to say about wanting James DeGale, you and your father. He said I think your father said, "We're going to cook you," quote. We've heard a little bit from your dad today about that fight and why that fight's not happening, but from your point of view, why isn't that fight happening? From what we understand, it was offered to James DeGale from your side?
It was offered to both of us. Matchroom sent contracts out. They want the fight. I'm ready for the fight. James DeGale didn't want the fight. Now he's having shoulder surgery. While he's in hospital, he should get his heart looked at as well, because he clearly does not have one.
So the negotiations were at a decent point, so a realistic possibility for July 15th, was that the time? Yeah.
The purses were agreed, the venue, everything. He just he doesn't want it, and I put it on him at the David Hay fight, ringside. I came up to him. You caught when him and George
correct
were going back and forth. You didn't see when I went up to him, which was actually before that happened. I said to him, "Listen, you're a businessman, and in terms of money, you're not going to get a better fight. You're not going to get a bigger, better fight than me. So what's the deal? What's the hold-up?" He's just stuttering, stumbling, bumbling. Didn't have anything to say. Was just shocked that I actually come over to him and put it on him, and just looking for a way out. I will see what happens. So he's not a champion in my opinion. He's not a true champion. A champion is somebody who's ready and willing to defend his title at any time against the people that deserve it, against the people that the public want to see them defend it against. And he doesn't want to do that.
Obviously, we saw the altercation between George and James that night, but what was DeGale's response to you from what you said to him that night? What was his response?
He didn't have a response. He was just stuttering, and he wasn't really even making much sense. We'll see what happens, but I'm not sure. You're saying this, but it was embarrassing. I felt bad for the kid. You're a world champion, but you can't even string sentences together when someone's legitimately telling you, let's fight, let's make money, let's give the public what they want. Didn't have anything to say for himself.
You believe that fight is still a possibility for the next 12
It
months?
has to be a possibility because he has a world title, and you know the public want to see the fight. Everyone wants to see the fight. Once I beat Arthur Abraham, what more excuses can you give to why you're not going to fight me? You can only run for so long.
After Kell Brook's defeat to Errol Spence a couple of weeks ago, you put some comments on Twitter. I just wanted you to sort of talk to me about those comments regarding Kell Brook and quitting. I spoke to your dad quite some time about it earlier on, but wanted to get your take on it really. What you thought of the fight and what you thought of the situation regarding Kell Brook.
It was a good fight. A close fight. A fight that he had a chance of. He had more than a fair chance of coming out on top of. And with 2 rounds to go, he gave up. So I simply asked the question, how? How and why do you give up your world title with 2 rounds to go? You're in your hometown, you've got thousands of people who've come out to support you, and you give up because your eye is hurting you. Unacceptable in my opinion. I've seen guys with broken jaws. My father had an eye out to here. Broken hands. David Haye is fighting with 1 leg for 6 rounds. They didn't give up. They didn't quit. They definitely didn't quit with 2 rounds to go, a round and a half to go. So yeah, that's what happened. He gave up. He lost his title, and it is what it is.
Back on ITV box office, Chris. Obviously, the first one was kind of a learning curve for everyone involved in it, but this time, obviously, your opponent is a lot stronger. I'm assuming an undercard to match as well for this.
Well, it's a great fight, and it deserves a great undercard. So I'm sure there will be some top fights on the bill. I don't know. I'm not sure if anything's been announced yet, but it was a great undercard for my last fight, and that was against somebody who was relatively unknown in the sport. So, expect a very solid undercard for this one.
For the foreseeable future, do you see or not know where your fights are going to be at middleweight or super middleweight, depending on what opportunity comes at which weight? Is that fair to say?
There is no set path. It's kind of, it's whatever opportunity presents itself first. There's great fights to be made in middleweight. There's great fights to be made at super middleweight. So it's basically whoever steps up first.
A fighter you was heavily linked with last year, Gennady Golovkin, will face Saul Canelo Alvarez in a fight that I'm sure you, as just a boxing fan, will be intrigued and interested to watch. What are your thoughts on that fight?
If Canelo goes in there with the attitude of I'm going to do the business no matter what, I know I can win. If he goes in there with the confidence he should have as a champion, then he will win, I believe. But if he goes in there with the attitude which he seemed to have when he gave up his world title, which was worry, that's the only thing I can explain why he would give up his world title. If he's worried about Golovkin, about the power, about whatever, then he'll lose. But either way, it'll be a very exciting fight to watch. And the winner or the loser, I want those guys. Those are the marquee names, and that's what I'm gunning for.
You've quite clearly verbally stated for a long time that it was particularly Golovkin that you wanted. Where do you sit with that at the moment, or doesn't it matter to you from Golovkin and Canelo who you may target from that fight?
I've been linked now for a while to Golovkin. There's been a lot of talk about it, so that is the fight really that I'd want. Canelo. He's middleweight, right? He's not doing that thing where he's kind of not fighting a middleweight.
Well, it's for 3 belts at middleweight, so are you talking about the actual weight itself?
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming that it is at the weight because, like I said, it's
Yeah.
for 3 championship belts. So
For Kennedy's belts.
yeah, 3 of his belts. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a huge fight and a fight that I would love. And a fight that once I beat Arthur Abraham, there's no real reason why it couldn't happen.
The thoughts on Billy Joe Saunders' next opponent, defending his world title on the 8th of July against Avantil Katsidze?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's nothing special. They're both nothing special, so I guess it's a good fight for both of them. I've stopped worrying about Saunders now because I know what he is. I know he doesn't want to fight me. So what can I do? I can't keep speaking about him because,
To be honest, you wouldn't have spoken about him unless I'd asked, but it's going to be relevant until you two fight again anyway at some
his
point.
name will always be brought up because
Yeah.
he has a win over me. But I can't keep thinking about the kid because he doesn't want to know. He wants to fight nobodies in leisure centres. So let him do that, and when he's run out of Eastern Europeans to beat up, then I'll be ready and waiting.
Just one final question, not related to yourself, but Mayweather versus McGregor, good for boxing or not?
Listen, it's great for boxing. It's a huge world event. The world will be watching that. And anything that puts that much spotlight on the sport of boxing is a good thing for the sport. You know, if you want to say, oh, McGregor's not a boxer, or, you know, Mayweather shouldn't be fighting guys like that, well, you know, Mayweather's already fought everybody he can fight. So now, for him, it is about money, and he's Money Mayweather. Everyone knows he's Money Mayweather, so you can't be mad at him for fighting for money. That's the money fight, and there's no chance that he would lose, in my opinion. I don't think McGregor has any chance against Mayweather in a boxing ring, just like Mayweather would have no chance against McGregor in the octagon. But still, a very interesting and fascinating fight to watch if it happens.
Would Conor McGregor win a British title?
Would he?
Yeah.
I can't say. I have never seen the guy box. I mean, he has all the foundation. He has great striking ability, but that's with, you know, 4-ounce gloves, and after you've kneed and elbowed someone for a few rounds. So it's hard to say. You know, I've seen a few clips of him sparring. It didn't look that impressive, but again, sparring. That's not actually. Sparring can be a completely different thing to how a fighter fights when he's actually in that ring. So you know, I'm very interested to see.
Like the world will be. Chris EUBANK, thank you very much for talking to Eiffel TV. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Chris? Anything on your chest?
Well, you brought up the Kell Brook issue.
Yeah.
And people have been asking me about that a lot. And you know, just to say that I understand where some people might think I'm being harsh in saying what I said, or you know, saying that he quit, which he did. You can't. I guess you can't really understand where I'm coming from unless you are a fighter, unless you've been in the game and understand what it takes to get there, and you understand the history of boxing. You know, for the general observer, oh, he hurt, his eye was bad, so of course he should have quit. Of course he shouldn't have gone on because he could have lost his eye, and you know that was the right thing to do. But when you're a man who's been in those situations, who's dedicated their life to the sport, knows the sacrifice, you can never condone quitting. and I'm a man that in that situation. You know, when you've given up so much to get to the position you're at, it's all or nothing. You've got to go all in. You can't be halfway. Oh, you know, okay, it's getting too tough, so let me pull out. You've got to be all in. And obviously, he wasn't willing to do that. But it's not harsh. It's not me being harsh. It's me being a fighter.
Just one more thing about that. Do you never see yourself, or is this a bit of an hard question to answer, to be honest, but is it impossible that you would never be in that situation? You could be in the situation, but what you did after that situation, is that impossible to answer, really?
Would I quit?
But you haven't been in that situation yet, have you?
No.
Where it's, what do I do now?
Well, I have, but never in public. In sparring sessions, I've been in those situations where, well, once or twice in my life where I've been hurt. You know, there was a sparring session in Cuba. I don't know if I've told you about this. I probably have, where I was fighting the Cuban heavyweight Olympian representative. This was years ago. And, you know, I thought it was going to be kind of, okay, you're a heavyweight, I'm a middleweight, so we're going to just work together. But this guy came out, we were in Havana in Cuba, and he came out with the intention of killing me, you know, and he battered me for 3 rounds. And from the first few seconds of him throwing punches, I knew, okay, this is going to be bad. And yeah, the thought goes through your mind, you know, what do I do? You know, this is getting really bad. I'm getting hurt. I'm getting beaten up. But the thought to quit never came into my mind. You know, I'm getting hit with all these punches, big punches, knocked out of the ring, got back into the ring. I didn't have to continue with the spar. Most people wouldn't have. You know, why would you do that? Why would you keep going against the heavyweight that you know you can't beat? But I did it for me. I did it out of pride, and I did it out of respect, and out of you know, grit and determination. I'm not letting this guy break me, because if he breaks me, then somebody else can break me. So I took my beating for 3 rounds. So I can say in my heart that I would never quit. And it's good that I'm speaking to you like this as well, because if a situation ever does come up like that again, where I'm in serious shit, then I'll think back to this interview with KUGAN CASSIUS and what the things I said. And then how can I quit? I can't say the things I've just said to you and then take a knee.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying, but that's not a reason why. I mean, if you listen, hopefully you don't find yourself in that situation in your career. But
if I do,
then
now I have some fuel to make sure that I don't quit, because then afterwards I'll know that everyone's gonna bring this little segment up onto YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, and oh, look what he said here. He said he'd never quit. So I know that's going to happen. So that this is going to stop me now from ever even thinking about quitting. So this is good that we're talking about it now.
Okay. Best of luck in camp, Chris, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you nearer the time. Should really come up to your gym one day.
Sure, anytime.
No, you.
Film a bit of the sparring.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll like to come up there actually. It's not far, it's only an hour and a half from where I am, so no problem. Chris EUBANK Jr., thank you very much for talking to our TV, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Cool.